What is going on, guys? This is Kirk here bringing you another video, and you guys haven't seen me in 3 weeks, almost a full month. I wasn't really planning on making videos until the Crash Beta and Dead Island 2 when it finally launches, when I get my copy on the 27th, but here we are, and 6 months ago, today, well, yesterday, 6 months ago, I made my Penguins preview predictions, and looks like I was right. It was either a wild card spot or miss the playoffs for the first time since 2006 Crosby's rookie season, which I didn't watch, or 2006. Their playoff streak since 2007 has come to an end, 16 years, and I haven't done a Penguin chat very much this year. Like, this is only the third episode. Like, this has really been a short season of me doing Penguin chat. But yeah, they've had a good run. It's sad to see the streak come to an end, but they got three cups out of those 16 years, and for 2 decades they won a cup. Early 2000s and 2016 17. So yeah, this is strange, no Penguins hockey for me for the first time. Like, this is something a lot of people haven't seen in a long time. Like, my first season in no Pens playoff hockey, not seeing Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin compete for the cup. Damn. So what went wrong this season for the Pens? There's only one name that wrecked everything. It was Ron Hextall. Um, he made some bad moves, trading Mike Matheson for old agent Jeff Petrie, which we did get Ryan Poulin, I think that is his name, but really shouldn't have done that trade because Matheson was younger, and also he traded John Marino, which we did get T.Y. Smith, but he barely played this year. And keep in mind, he's only 2 years younger than John Marino. It's not like we traded something to get someone that is like 4 to 5 years younger. So yeah, not like that. And Hextall made dumb signings, like signing Kasperi Kapanen to a 2-year contract when he played terrible last year. And he saw Kasperi Kapanen bounce back, and he didn't happen this year. We ended up losing Kasperi Kapanen for nothing. We had to put him on waivers, and then the Blues claimed him. And Hextall wouldn't address issues like making changes. Like, say what you want about Jim Rutherford through the end, but he would actually try to fix his mistake. Hextall just did nothing until it was too late, where it was the last few weeks to make a trade, or days, or at the deadlines. And what he did do was make the Penguins keep getting older. Second round pick for Michael Gabrannon, who was just a disappointment. And now we have him for $5 million for 2 more years. How are we going to get rid of that contract? And don't forget trading for that Ducks player to get them even older. Like, if that was the only like trade he would have done, like, I'm glad we got rid of Brock McGinn. I guess we had to give up that third round pick so the Ducks can take on that contract for that 1 more year. So I'll let that one pass. But Hextall just kept destroying it and destroying it. And I'm pretty sure if the Pens didn't make all those bad trades in the offseason in 2022, we would be in the playoffs right now. And also, don't forget, he traded for Nick Bonino, a player from the 2016 and 2017 back-to-back Cup runs. Another older player at 34, when he wasn't the same player again after he left Pittsburgh to join Nashville. So Ron Hextall just needs to go before he does any more damage. Getting more older players with terrible contracts, so Hextall definitely needs to go. Like, he did terrible. I thought he would be the beacon of light after Jim Rutherford, the damage he was doing after 2017. But that didn't happen. So what also went wrong this year with the Pens? It's not like the three's big stars were too old at their decline now. Crosby and Malkin were putting up points per game. Crosby got a 30-goal campaign. Malkin almost scored 30 goals. And remember this, everyone. This was a full season of Crosby and Malkin. They didn't miss a single game this year. That's almost like never happened. Not even in their primes. Like the Pens didn't face much adversity this year without Crosby or Malkin. They didn't face any of that this year. So this year was not like the Stars were reaching the decline and not keeping up. And also the top six was pretty much great this year. Jake Getzel, 36 goals this year. Ricard Raquel, 27 goals this year, almost 30. Jason Zucker, man, he played incredible this year. His best hockey since becoming a Penguin when we traded for him in 2020 season. And Zucker played so well, and we really should have traded him the way he was playing, because he could have got us a first-round pick. But, man, and now we're going to lose Zucker most likely for nothing. There's a small chance he resigns, but most likely not. And on to Mike Sullivan. I think the assistant coaching staff, like Todd Reardon, needs to go. And for Mike Sullivan, I have to say I'm forever grateful what he's brought. He's the best Pens coach in their history, the back-to-back cups. But he was being stubborn this year, having Brock McGinn in the lineup when he constantly was going pointless and not scoring a goal. Having Jeff Carter in the lineup when he couldn't do much. And let's be real, Jeff Carter has reached the decline of his career. And if he plays next year, if he's still with Pitt, that's probably his last NHL season he's got left in the tank. The man is 38 years old. Or 39, but I'll have to check. But, do you really think Jeff Carter can keep up? So Sullivan was really not that great this year, and he was being stubborn. And some say Casper Captain would have succeeded more if he would have had better line mates, because he was playing third line, sometimes fourth. But there were times with different line mates, but overall, Sullivan was really stubborn this year, and I think Jeff Carter should have been scratched a lot of games this season throughout mid-February and March. And also, Hextall, keep in mind, he protected Jeff Carter over Jarek McCann and Brandon Tent. We lost basically two players in that expansion draft because we traded McCann. He got selected by Seattle in 2021, and look how Jarek McCann turned out to be. He's scoring 30 goals. He's a big chunk of Seattle Kraken. He's going to be part of that for years and years to come. He's been amazing. And we also protected Jeff Carter over Brandon Tanev, which we originally weren't so sure about that contract. But Tanev is still playing decent and good for a fourth liner, pushing to a third liner in Seattle Kraken, and they're in the playoffs in their second year of existence. So Hextall made really, really bad decisions. It's very hard for me to think of what the best thing he did. The Jeff Carter thing looked like the best trade at the time, but not anymore. The only trade that actually looks like that he's done a good job on is Ricard Raquel trade. Top six forward, and he's playing well for his contract for the next 5 years, which this year was year one. But anyway, So what do the Pens do now this offseason? As I've said on not social media, YouTube comments on the Pens channel, if I was GM, they should have traded near the deadline after they lost Kathman. They should have traded Jason Zucker, Brian Dumo, who was struggling this year and seemed in the last few games he was playing decent, but let's be real. Brian Dumo's most likely gone this year. He's a fan favorite, one of the last of the back-to-back runs, but I got a feeling if Hextall's still here, he's going to sign him to a contract. Like, as much as I like Dumo, it's time to let him go. Like, the man is in his early 30s, going to push to mid, and the Pens need younger speed on that blue line. And we should have traded Danton Hyan, which I understand why they signed him again because he played so well the year before, like last year, but he didn't live up to it this year. And as well, Jari, because we should have traded Jari. I know that sounds, people are going to say, what the hell's wrong with you? Keep in mind, Jari has been hurt a lot this season. Couldn't stay healthy. Was pulled multiple times this year. Has struggled in the playoffs. Has never won a playoff series. And he wants $6 million. Are you really going to take that risk for $6 million for a guy that can't stay healthy? Never won a playoff series in the NHL. So let's be real. Tristan Jarry at maximum at this point, even though he's a two-time All-Star, he's worth only $3.4 million. That's it. And I feel like he's a decent goalie. He's not an elite like starter franchise goaltender that would win Vezina trophies, tag team award. At most, I feel he can win you 20 something games pushing the 30. That's it. Not 40 or even 50 games. Like 20 to 30 is most likely where Jari's best is. Like, so yeah, we should have traded Jari, and now he's most likely gonna walk this season. And I understand why they wouldn't do it, because who are the Pens gonna have coming up to NHL level that could be a really good goaltender? No one. No one. D. Smith, like, he's a solid backup. Like, he's a decent backup. But he's not a guy to be a starter for a whole season and a playoffs run. So yeah, we should also trade Danton Hyan. May not would have got much for him, like Dumo and Josh Archibald. He's most likely gone this year, Josh Archibald. This was his second time as a Pen, and he's mostly gone this year. But we could have got something like better than nothing for Jari, Dumo, maybe Josh. Like nothing amazing, just basically as like a 7th round pick or something for a team that wants depth or someone that's won a cup but experience. So the Pens could have got a 1st round pick. I don't know what they could have got for Dumo. Maybe a decent bottom or like a player. I don't know, a 2nd round pick or a 3rd. I don't know. Like, but now the players that Pens could have got something decent but better than nothing are most likely gonna walk. Zucker has played his final, most likely, game in a Penguins uniform. So overall, like, I feel if Hextall's still gonna be here, he's gonna still have the mindset to contend, but which I hope he's not. So what I think needs to be done next year, it's time to have players like Alex Nylander, Samuel Poulin, Drew O'Connor, Nathan, I forget what his name is, and, and be in the lineup. I think it's time. Depends, like, Malkin may not have another point per game season next year, Crosby maybe might have one more the way he's been playing. Like, you need young talent coming up. Like, Getzel's young, but he's not young like when he first came in. Oh, one more thing about to say, the only player on the top six that struggled a lot this year, who I thought was going to put 30 goals in for the first time, was Brian Rust. Like, he really did struggle this year. And but the bottom six needs a complete change. They gotta find a way to get rid of Jeff Carter without buying him out, but he has a no movement clause. And who's going to take on that contract for a player that, at best now, is a fourth line centerman? I don't know if they're going to be able to find a way to get rid of Mikael Granlund at $5 million. I highly doubt it, and I don't think they want to buy out that contract because they bought out Jack Johnson. They're still paying for a few more years. So, yeah, what I think needs to be done is, with Dumo most likely walking, as much as I like him, I hope we don't resign him. I hope it's time to put players like P.O.J. Joseph with a top pairing with Tang, because he pretty much this year has proved his worth. I think he should be part of the Pens' future on the blue line since he's 23, going to be 24. I think he should be part of it, like, for years and years to come. I think he's our future best D man. And I know one thing that we're not going to be able to get rid of. Jeff Petrie, his contract at 35, almost 36 for 2 more years. Like, we're not going to get rid of that. Marcus Pettersson played alright, decent. Like, so since he's 26, I recommend keeping him around. With Tang, you gotta tip your hat to Tang, how hard he tried this year. Like, he went through a lot this year. A second stroke, passing of his father. Like, he dealt with a lot this year and still tried his hardest. Like, he reached his 1,000 game this year, which I watched, and it was incredible. So, Watang also played really well this year. Like especially with all the things he went through. Crosby, just amazing, talented. But does he have another point per game in him next year? Only time will tell. No one can predict the future. Getzel played well, and he's on a contract year next year for his like just like a $2 million pay raise, I feel. And so yeah, the only player I can see the Pens wanting to resign that's very important is Jari, because they don't have a goaltender who's ready or could be a good elite goaltender or a great starter. Like, so I just don't see it yet. The Pens just don't have it. Not unless they go after in free agency to pick up a veteran goaltender with starting left in him, but I don't think that's a good idea. So overall, it's sad to see it coming to an end, but I'm forever grateful for the memories. I've been watching since '08. I got playoffs for 15 straight years. 15, never had them miss. And I'm proud of everything, the memories. Like, we should be grateful, Pens fans. Like, if this is truly, like, if this is not like a bad year and this is truly like the end of the era where we have to go in the rebuild, we should be grateful. We got 2 cups the last decade. We went to the cup final 4 times, 5 Eastern Conference finals, the back-to-back runs, Winter Classics, had a new one this year, Stadium Series. Like, we can't forget about those. We've seen great moments, ups and downs, milestones, so many, like, different type of jerseys. Like, we've had a good run. Like, there's a lot to be proud of for this. Like, if this is truly the end and this is not going to be like a bad season and have to go into rebuild, like, we should be proud and grateful and cherish everything. I am, and this season, this was my first year at in I think, yeah, it was in October. No, wait, it was actually in November. that I went to my first Pens game and my first NHL game, and my hero, my idol, my favorite player of all time, scored. Crosby scored, and it was in Edmonton. Like, and when it happened, I said, "Dreams do come true," in my head like that. So yeah, so yeah, I guess going to your first NHL game, seeing your heroes in front of you, and like seeing players that you grew up watching, like as a kid, teenager, and now in your adulthood, like it was worth it. But yeah, as I said, forever grateful, and there's going to be a lot of question marks this year. What do they do with goaltending when the season starts and we get our new signings and see what prospects and our first round picks? Thank God we kept our first round pick this year. Like, what are we going to do with that pick? Like, depending on what type of player we get in the draft, do we have them up right away or we're not going to have them? So many questions, and it's going to be interesting off season. It's like I said, it's very strange this early. Pens hockey's over. I know one thing: the entire NHL fan base in the league is happy now that the Pens finally failed to make it, and I'm pretty sure all the fan bases, except Pens fans like me, have Matt Niskanen in 2017 that hit on the cross check when he hit Crosby in the head, and Tom Wilson's deadly play in 2017, which we all know what happened. It made Rutherford getting tired of the players getting bullied, and he went out to get big tough guys, Ryan Reeves, enforcers, soul players like Matt Hunwick, Jack Johnson, Gabranson. Yep, we all know that broke the Pens. So the entire league is now, and fan bases are now thanking Matt Niskanen for doing that. Because we all know Rutherford made all those bad decisions, trading picks and prospects and having to get big guys like Jamie Alexiak and bad signings. So we all know what broke the Pens. So yeah, I like just to say this is the end of season 4 uh, of Penguin Chat. Penguin Chat will be renewed for a season 5 once the 2023-2024 season. And all I gotta say is, let's go Pens for next year, and I'll see you guys next year. And I guess I got, thankfully, my second favorite teams in the playoffs. Go Knights, go!
Didn't expect that.